do I got a juicy story for you. It's juicy. Juicy, juicy. So, I'm really like 97% into women. And I leave 3% for men. Like, I don't really identify like a bisexual, but like, I leave it, leave that door a little bit cracked for the men here and there. If I see one like on a dating app that looks very kind and like, all that good stuff. Cheddar's trying to break in. Cheddar, will you be a good kitty? So anyways, on Tinder it was like 2 weeks ago, I swiped right on somebody that swiped right on me, and it was a black guy, a black cis guy, and I was very shocked because I don't normally get a lot of black guys. Number one, I'm in Portland, there's not many black people here, and number two, I feel like a lot of black men just aren't into trans men, and if they are, they're not into black trans men, you know what I mean? It's kind of just like, I don't know why, but this guy, he was looking cute. What I really loved, this is like so random, but what I really loved about this guy from just his profile was the fact that he was only 5'6". And I even said something in my first message to him saying, I love how you're short. Not like, I didn't say it like that sounds mean. I was like, I love how you're like not that tall because I get a little intimidated by taller men. And he was like, oh, I'm very confident in myself and I love my height. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. So I'm happy I didn't offend him. I just wanted to like put it out there, but I didn't know how to say it, and I was scared I was gonna offend him, but I didn't, so that's good. And yeah, what ended up happening was this guy was like really cool because he was very quick with things, which is a bit of a red flag. Number one, he was talking about sexual things really early on. I have a picture on my Tinder that's my full body, but I'm in my boxers. And this one really got me. He said, what's in your pants in that picture? And I said, what do you mean? I didn't say, what do you mean? Okay, so I'm going to be real right now. I lied because I was confused about why was he asking me about my pants? So he was really asking, like, why does it look like you have a dick? And I think he was asking, really, do you have a dick? So that's my biggest red flag. I should have saw it, but I saw it as nothing in the moment. I was like, okay, like, he's asking what I got in there. So I lied and I said I wear an STP because I didn't want to be like, there's nothing in there. I don't know why I lied, but I did say it's an STP. But there was nothing in there. And it didn't even look like anything, so I don't know why he commented on that. But like I said, it's probably just because he really wanted to ask, do you have a dick? And anyways, so he was very quick with everything. He wanted to move to the phone pretty early on. He wanted to call me pretty early on. This is a weird one. I was at work, and he called. This was the day after we matched. So we matched at 11 p.m. on one night. We were talking maybe till about 1 a.m. because, I work grave shift, and he was just playing video games. We actually probably talked till like 3 a.m. And then the next day, at like 3 p.m., he called me, and he said, hey, like, I'm having some issues at my job, and I just wanted to talk to you to vent. And I was like, this is kind of weird because we don't know each other at all. But I was like open to it. I was like, okay, what's going on? And he said he's having issues with a trans guy at his job. I was like, oh. And looking back on it, that sounds like a red flag as well. Doesn't that sound like a bit of a red flag? He has issues with a trans man at his own job. So, it's weird. He was asking me if I ever, like, hit up HR before, and I was like, no, and I was just asking what's going on. It was, like, some random shit. Anyways, he ended up, same day, it's all in the same day, he ended up quitting both of his jobs. He has 2 full-time jobs, because he had issues with that trans person that worked at both of the jobs. Anyways, I wanted to meet the guy, and I don't really have much time, but there was a sliver of time I had that same day. This is all within 2 days. We matched one night, and the next day, we ended up meeting, okay? And I'm a dumb-ass whore. I want to say that right now. I'm a dumb whore. I never usually, well, in the past I have, but I never usually just invite, especially a cis man, over in my house, same day that we meet. But we talked on the phone, and there was something about him that I felt like he was a cool guy. It's probably because he was very open about things, and it seemed like he was interested in me, and not many people are really that interested. So, where are you, Tiny? Oh, is that Tiny's head? No, it's not Tiny's head. Yeah, so he seemed very interested in me, and I liked that about him. So, I invited him over. he didn't have a car, so I had to, like, pick him up with my bike and my skateboard. Because I was really high and I didn't want to, like, drive. So I biked with my skateboard on my back to go meet him at the train station, like, literally a block or two away. And we come to my house, and it's, like, okay at first. Like, everything's going totally fine. We're, like, chilling. I'm meal prepping while he's making, like, a beat on my MIDI controller and my laptop. Because I wanted to hear his music, and I had to meal prep. So I even told him that ahead of time, like, I gotta do shit, you know, but I want to see you. And we were planning on cuddling, you know what I mean? Like, we're gonna, like, hang out and just, like, cuddle. No sex or anything. And this is something else I really liked about this guy in the beginning. He said that he is okay with me being asexual. He just likes to cuddle. He likes to, you know, hug. He likes to be affectionate, but he's okay with not having sex. And I was like, yes, finally. And so I think that's probably, like, a big one that I really was attached to with this guy, because most men say they're not okay with that and they need something. So I like that about him. Anyways, we're hanging out and stuff, and literally I randomly just say to him, it seems, because he brought up something about his friend's girlfriend having a dog, and that dog bit his arms all over. And I looked at his arms, there was literally bite marks all over his arms. Like, it was old bite marks, so it was like scars, and it looked kind of insane. I was like, that dog really did not like you. So he told me the whole story about how she purposely made her dog bite him. And so I said, and I'm very open and blunt about things, tiny little head, I'm very open and blunt about things, especially when I first meet somebody, because I want them to know how I feel about them. So I said to him, it seems like you have a lot of issues with people. You know, it seemed like you have a lot of people issues, like, and he went the fuck off. He went off so hard. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. I was extremely, where are you, Tiny? I was extremely confused, because he was saying all this stuff like, why would you even say that? You know, you're such a negative person. I told you all these good things about me, and you just see the negative. And I was just like, that was literally just like a small comment. I wasn't like trying to have an in-depth thing about how he's not good with people. I just randomly said that, and he was going crazy, dude, like crazy. Like, he was getting, like, he was raising his voice, and I was like, this is so weird. And I was like, let's just drop it and, like, move on and talk about something else, because I'm, you know, just trying to, like, have a good time. And he was like, no, like, you just insulted me. And I was like, okay. And then he started saying, and because he wanted to, like, explain himself, and so then he started saying this whole thing. He said like 40 times. He said, you know, well, when you're a man, he said it so many times. I was looking him dead in the eye. He said, well, when you're a man, people have issues with you, and so you gotta, you know, be yourself and stuff. And, like, when you're a man, well, because I'm a man. And he said it like 40 times, dude, I swear to God. And it was so clear that what he was doing was he was trying to say that I am not a man. And there could be like a 5% chance that maybe I'm just insecure, and that's what I read into it. But he literally said all that shit. And, like, nobody says that to another man, right? Like, if someone's saying, you know, my life is hard because I'm a man, if they're talking to another man, why would they need to say that? Because that's also a man, and they know how it is being a man. Obviously, I wasn't born a man, but I am living as a man. So he was kind of trying to say, like, women, and I actually said this too. I said, so what, you think women don't have issues with people? You think women don't, you know, bring other women down? And he was like, well, I'm not talking about women right now. I'm talking about being a man. And I was like, goodbye, bitch. So I was just so done with him after that. It was clear. I, like, kind of added, my goddamn phone died. But I was telling him my whole accident I had with Tiny, about how Tiny, like, got kind of hurt and stuff from the tape that I had on her fucking, on his tank. Anyways, he said, shame on you, and he was joking, and he was, I don't know, they're saying shame on you after I'm over here saying, like, I fucked up, like, I feel really bad that, like, I hurt my baby, and then he's like, shame on you. Like, who says that? He was being really rude. And also on top of that, like, I was just telling him random things about my life, and I feel like he felt threatened or something, because he kept on, like, ignoring me. Like, every time I'd say, like, maybe accomplishment or something good about my life, like, he would, and I wasn't trying to brag or anything, you know, and he would just, like, kind of ignore it. Like, you know, when you can clearly tell somebody's trying to, like, ignore you because they're, like, jealous or something, or I don't know. I feel like he just kept on trying to one-up me and shit, and it was really fucking weird. It was just overall just, like, a really bad experience. But you know what's, like, the funniest thing? you know how this ended? Because the whole thing was we were going to hang out for a while and like cuddle and everything. But this was probably like, this was an hour into hanging out. And in the end, I was like, literally mid-conversation, I said, I want you to leave. I walked over to my front door. I opened the door. And I've done this like a few times before. And I've learned to do this. Like, this is something like, it's such a useful skill to just put your foot down and realize that you are literally wasting your goddamn time, because I've come to realize like I'm not wasting my time on anybody. So if I'm in a situation, somebody specifically at my house or I'm at someone else's house, I'm either going to leave immediately or I'm going to tell them to leave immediately, because I'm not having it. I don't want any, like, we're clearly not a good match to be friends. So anyways, every time I say this to someone, they start being really mean on their way out. And this guy was not any different. On his way out, he said, cause I was like, we're not really a good match, you know. I was talking about friend-wise, obviously, you know, obviously cuddle-wise, everything. I was like, yeah, it doesn't seem like really a good match, you know, it's not gonna work out. And he said, well, you know, I didn't even want anything more with you. I don't want anything sexual or romantic with you. And I was like, okay, good, cause I don't either. Like, it's, you know, we're not a good match. It ain't gonna work out. And he was like, well, I was thinking maybe just friends. I was like, well, I was thinking not even friends at all. Do you really think that we could be friends? We can't even have a conversation, you know. And really what it was he couldn't disagree, you know. He couldn't be okay with me disagreeing with me. I remember there was also something else. I think this is the last point that I have, is we were talking about religion, you know, and I was saying, like, do you believe in God, you know, just casually. And he said, I feel like a lot of people, like 95% of people I ask this, they say, I don't believe in God, but I, you know, pray, and I don't go to, they say there is a God, but I don't believe in, like, Jesus Christ, you know, like that God. And I'm like, okay, I understand that. Ooh, this rainbow. And so I said, I don't believe in God, and I don't believe in any of that. And he said, what about the devil? And I said, no, I don't believe in the devil, because I don't believe in God. I don't believe in any of that bullshit. No offense to the religious people, but I said, I don't believe in any of that shit. And he was like, well, the devil is real. And I was like, bye. If somebody is telling you they don't fucking believe in God, or they don't believe in the devil or anything, you're not going to say, well, that's not right. Like, it is true. Like, I don't agree with him believing in God. I wouldn't say, well, you do know that he ain't real, right? Like, I would never do that. It's so rude, especially with somebody you just met, like, an hour beforehand. Like, I don't know, there's something about this dude. And it really did make me think that things I've learned from this experience was, I'm not going to invite people over unless I've met them like 3 times out of my house. Number 2 is, I'm not going to talk about anything sexual related before we hang out in person, because this guy was talking about a few sexual things. Like I said, he was okay with me being asexual, but he was asking like a lot of very personal sexual questions, and I think I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to answer any personal questions, like personal sexual questions, until I've met them in person, because it's like a waste, you know. And what else did I learn? I honestly am thinking, I don't know about, like, this sounds so racist, but I don't know about black guys. Like, I haven't realized, like, a lot of black guys are super competitive and super, like, not really, I feel like a lot of men in general, cis men in general, are not really actually into me as a man. I think they just see me as a woman. Just the fact that the second that this guy is offended by me, he brings up the fact that I am not a real man, saying he's a man. He's bringing up the fact that I'm not a real man. And there's something about a lot of cis men that I feel like don't see me as a man. They see me as a woman that just happens to kind of look like a guy. Just the way that they talk to me, the way they look at me, the way they, everything about it, like, in a, you know, dating, romantic, sexual environment, I just don't know if I believe any of them, if they really are. Because also with this guy, he said, I don't, you know, really like men like that. There's only like a few that I would maybe be down for. And I'm over here thinking, like, so you're straight and you just see me as a woman. In my mind, I thought of that, because, like, if you are attracted to me, you are at least bisexual. Like, do I look like a damn woman? Because I don't. And I don't think it's about looks for these people. They just know that I am not a biological man. So they still see me on the outside as just over it. I'm fucking over it. I don't think I will be going on a date with this man unless they had something. Unless they had something I was looking for, you know, something real juicy, a juicy deal. Because I'm not seeing that with, like, cis women or trans woman or trans men. Like, I'm not seeing that. I know T for T is the way to go, but, like, where they at? My doors are open for everybody. But the door for men just got a lot more cracked. Got a lot more smaller. Yeah, so that was my experience. It wasn't a great experience. I actually literally felt unsafe in my own home. And that's why I did, like, dramatically tell him to leave, because I felt unsafe, you know? When someone's yelling at you over something so small, think about when it's something big. Like, how do they get, you know? Like, and thinking about those scars on his arm. Did he do something to provoke that dog? Is there a reason why this woman doesn't like him? He didn't talk about one person that actually likes him. You know what I mean? Like, it says a lot about you if everybody doesn't like you. Like, it's one thing, like, for me, I'm really happy with my life, but everybody not liking you, your friends or family, strangers, like, it's weird. Maybe your personality needs some touching up, you know? So, I don't know. I'll definitely not be going on any dates with any cis man anytime soon. But I'm happy I gave it a try, you know? Sometimes you just gotta give it a try, and if it doesn't work, it don't work. So, yeah.